My brothers and sisters in the Lord, I greet you in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. I hope we are doing wonderfully well at this point in time. I remain yours, Micah Dangata, and today we have Pastor Benjamin in the house. Pastor Benjamin, how are you doing?
I'm fine.
I want us to talk about the criticisms of the Bible. Long before now, the Bible has been criticized.
Long before now, the Bible, years ago, centuries ago, millennia ago, the Bible has been a subject of debate, sir.
You know, so can we actually go back to some of those areas that the Bible has been criticized? Can we actually pinpoint some of them?
All right, you have criticism like the Elohist,
all right,
who criticize the concept of Elohim as being a plural. Because if you take the Bible itself from Genesis chapter 1, the opening statement in the Hebrew Bible is Breshit bara Elohim. Breshit is the Hebrew word for beginning, which is translated in English Genesis.
The
book got its name from the book itself.
All right.
You understand? So if you take the Hebrew Bible now, what you see there, you not see Genesis, you will see Breshit. You understand? Bara means to form, to make, to create. You understand? So Breshit bara Elohim. Now the name of God in the Mesopotamian region is the region where Jerusalem and Middle East found itself today. They have a particular culture, the Syriac, the Aramaic, the Arabs and the Jews. That's why it's called Middle East. They had a similar way of speaking, similar way of writing, and then similar way of pronunciation. For instance, in Syriac language, we have the names of God, including Allah. In Arabic, Ilah, where we have Allah.
All right.
In Hebrew, let me learn this. In the Jewish, it is El. And the word El, fortunately, El does not really mean God.
All right.
El means anything worship.
Anything worship.
Yes. That's the concept of El. But then, for the Hebrew, because of God's glory and the compound nature of God, they did not call him El. They call him Elohim, one bigger than any other worship. And so that argument of Elohist and the Yahwehist brought this. They criticized the text. They criticized the inspiration.
Was that the most popular criticisms of the Bible at that point in time?
Those were the two major criticisms of the Bible, groups of criticism: the Elohist and the Yahwehist. You understand? These are the two divides in the history. There are others that came. We have textual criticism, we have form criticism, we have style criticism, we have translational criticism. For instance, as we discussed the other day, the original Hebrew Bible written before what we call letter missionaries was actually not having the dots. They are called undotted scripts. They don't have vowels. They are written in straight capital letters.
All right.
Do you understand? A consonant. The Masoretic texts were a later development. But now that the criticism is, when they were doing that, others were saying the original text didn't have vowels. And so you remember the last time I was here, I told you that it was that bad for the Jew that if a Jewish man is transcribed, when I mean transcribing, is copying the Bible, is copying the pages, because the Bible is a copy of a copy of a copy. People keep copying. And that's why you see what we call the variant reading.
All right.
So if they are copying and there's the name Yahweh, they stop. If Yahweh appeared 30 times in a verse, 30 times they wash themselves because it's a holy name. In fact, it was the reason the Jews stopped using Yahweh, because it's a holy name. They started using Adonai.
All right.
Do you understand? Lord. So you see the NIV translating Yahweh as Lord and then Elohim as God.
Wow. The Bible has been criticized long before now.
Sure.
And so we shouldn't be surprised when people are still criticizing some part of the Bible, especially some of the versions of the Bible.
Ironically, sir, it's not even the Bible alone that has been criticized. Even the Quran went through criticism.
All right.
The average Muslim will tell you that there are 7 harufs that the Quran was revealed in, which means 7 dialects which the Quran was revealed in. But the question is, was the Prophet understanding the 7 dialects? The Quran were revealed in 7 dialects, so every dialect has their own translation. That means every verse that is revealed to the Prophet has 7 harufs.
One of the criticisms or questions thrown at you is, does the revised standard version of the Bible suggest that the Bible is being corrupted? What is your take?
They mistook, read out of context, this statement from the revised standard version.
All right.
This is the statement. They came to the middle and picked this statement and made it look like the writers, the translators, were saying that the King James Bible is corrupted, therefore the entire Bible is corrupted. See what the says. Right. Yet, the King James Version has great defects. By the middle of the 19th century, the development of biblical studies and the discovery of many manuscripts more ancient than those upon which the King James Version was based made it manifest that these defects are so many and so serious as to call for revision of the English translation. What does this mean? They forgot to read that the Bible itself was not written in English. It was written in Greek, in Hebrew, the original undotted text. And then when the Jew went into slavery, they lost their language. They could no longer speak or write well in Hebrew. So the Bible has to be translated from Hebrew to Greek, what is called the Septuagint. So in their captivity, what they were using was the Septuagint, the Greek translation of the Hebrew Bible, even before the New Testament. Do you understand? So that the Bible was later translated from Hebrew and Greek to Latin. So the Roman Church had the Latin Bible, and the Latin Vulgate was what was used. Do you understand? So as Christianity was becoming more widespread and reaching out to people of different community, different tongues, different languages, it got to the English settlement. The English people needed a translation. So Tyndale was the first to venture into that.
Okay, Tyndale,
yes. The Tyndale Bible was the first to venture into this translation. Tyndale translated the New Testament into English. But Tyndale was not really a scholar in the Greek language. Tyndale did the best he could based on his understanding. But the church saw that Tyndale actually translated the Bible in such a way that it watered down the meaning of so many things. So the church arrested him. Let me use that word. The church, the early church then felt he was trying to rebel against the church. Do you understand? So subsequently, others came and then started up this thing from there. Even the revised standard version. We have what do you call it? We have the likes of the Latin Vulgate, the Roman Catholic, this thing. We have the translations like King James Version, which took its cognizance from using the Latin Vulgate, the Tyndale translation, the Thomas Matthew, probably the Pseudo for John Roger is there in the revised standard version. So they put all of these other translations together. What King James did was to consult from these persons. And by the way, who is King James? King James is a king in the United Kingdom. Who, then only kings give authority for translation, sir. So James then decided to translate the Bible so that the English people have a Bible to study. And that's why it is called the Authorized King James Version. So
which one was authorized and which was the unauthorized?
The King James Version, there's the authorized King James, is the first to be translated. The reason is because the King James himself gave the authority, gave the power, go and translate. Now, Tyndale did that without authorization. The remaining Thomas and the rest of them did their translation without authorization. But this time around, the king said, I am giving you the authority. Go and translate the Bible. So a committee was collected. So they went to the Greek Bible, did their translation, then taking into cognizance the mistakes from the various translation. Mistakes from translation, not from the manuscripts.
All right. What actually happened to some of those people that translated the Bible unauthorizedly?
Like Tyndale was born on the stake. He was killed.
He was executed.
Tyndale was executed because the church was guarding that.
Yeah, wanted to wash themselves off.
They were guarding the sanctity of the Bible so that even if it is going to be translated, it has to be well. But Tyndale went on his own out of good conscience because people don't understand Latin. don't understand how the Bible comes. So it means the priest has to read the Bible and interpret, like what is happening in Islam today. You understand? That the Imam has to read from the Arabic text, then give it a Hausa translation or English translation. That is what they were doing.
One of the major problems you have in Islam is the sheikhs will always translate it the way they understand, not necessarily the way it is in the Quran.
Of course.
Because there are times that you hear, most times in Hausa, they said, Malan Yachi. Malan Yachi. Most Muslims does not even understand how to read the Quran and all of that.
Should I bust you?
I don't know, yeah.
Should I bust you?
All right.
The Quran was not to be translated into any language.
All right.
Yes. And so to any Muslim, if you have a translated Quran, it is not a Quran. It is not holy. The Bible called itself the word of life. That's the only book that calls itself the word of life. Do you understand? We have the Logos and we have the Rhema. Rhema is the revelational word. Logos is the spoken word. The Bible is the revelational word of God, and it is called the word of life. Do you understand? And then see, you notice that for a very long while Islam was not growing until the Quran began to be translated into other languages and people started reading the Quran in their own dialect, and Islam started getting reception. Christianity and the Bible is not a cult that should be kept secret. That's why Christianity says it is not the written words in the Bible that is inspired. It is the message God gave that is inspired. That's why you can take the Bible, tear it, and I won't get angry with you. For me, the Bible is not the pages. You know, there were stories we grew up to see of Abiola buying containers of Bible and sinking them in this. There are stories of some prominent northerners buying containers of Bible and burning them over around Kano Kaduna route. But you know what was happening? Instead of destroying the Bible, they were giving us money to print more Bible. Because if they buy 10 containers of Bible, they're giving us money to print 30 containers.
Oh my God.
Are you getting it? That's why you can never hear somebody being killed for desecrating the Bible.
Finally, do you have any words for our viewers?
Yes. My word for those of you following us is, please don't read like them. Read in context. If you've gone to school and you've studied English, there's what we call comprehension and summary, sir. You don't just pick a word out of context simply because they say, yet the King James Version has a lot of defect. What were the defects? Are they inspirational defect, copies defect, or translational defects? And so those people that came understood that the language with which King James used, the authorized King James, the translators used, were dead languages. Or a word may have like 4 or 5 different meanings. But they pick one without considering the context of the flow of the information. So that's why the Bible said, from your childhood, know the holy scriptures that are able to make you right unto salvation. He said, all scriptures are given by inspiration of God. They are profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction in righteousness, that a man of God will be thoroughly equipped, rightly dividing the word of truth. So it means if the Bible says we will rightly divide the word of truth, it means that we can also wrongly divide the word of truth. And that's what our brothers are doing, wrongly dividing the Bible. Because when you are reading for an excuse, you'll find a lot. But if you are reading for edification, you also find a lot. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. I remain yours, Micah Dangata. Until we come your way next time.
Thank you. Bye.